Hi everybody, this is Rosa Kelly, and today I'm going to show you how I make my mini albums. This is going to be a step-by-step tutorial as I was requested by some of you, and I hope you enjoy. I really enjoy making this tutorial, and let me just show you really quickly what we're going to be doing. This mini album has 4 sheets, and we will have like a mini album inside the mini album concept, gatefold, waterfall, and then multiple page designs. And I'll walk with you step by step how I made this. If you want to see the detailed walkthrough of this album, I have a separate video for that. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so for this mini album, we are going to need double-sided tape. I have the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. We're also going to need chipboard. I get mine at Michael's. And then, so from this little package, I'm only going to use two. These are 7 by 6.5. And then I have a leftover piece, and that will be for my spine. And this one is 3 by 6.5. And then we are also going to need cardstock paper. I get mine at Michael's as well. This is heavyweight cardstock, and I got the white base for us. So we're gonna need a few multiple sheets of that. Then I'm also gonna need a pair of scissors. I also use this glue right here. And then you're gonna need 2 of the 6 by 6 Christmas theme paper, whichever you prefer. I'm using the Recollection Christmas Noel. I think it's called Shimmer Noel. It's the gold and silver. And I'll show it to you. It's very pretty. So I'm using this one. And then also you're gonna need some magnets. These are my magnets. I ran out of the small ones. I only have the big ones. So you're gonna need some of those. And then I'm gonna use a paper punch. Any one you need will be good. And then on top of that, you're gonna need a paper cutter. And obviously a scoreboard. So I'll be using my Martha Stewart. So now we're gonna build our pages. Because our paper, it's 6 by 6. I'm going to cut my cardstock at 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And I'm going to save the leftovers right here, and I'm gonna have 4 of those. Okay, so here are my 4 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and here are my leftovers right here, and we are going to need that, so save it. And then we are going to cut 4 more, and these ones are going to be at 7 1/4. Actually, I'm going to start with 6 1/4 because I want all my leftover pieces to be the same size. So this goes on my pile. And then I'm going to do 7 1/4. So that's one. And let me just do one more to show you. Do the 6 1/4 first. That way our leftover pieces are all even in size. And then 7 1/4. So these are my 4 7 1/4 by 6 1/4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our scoreboard. And the ones that are 7 1/4 by 6 1/4, we are going to score. We are going to score 1/2 inch on each side. one side. And the other side as well. Okay, like that. I don't know if you can see it. So I have a 1/2 inch score and a 1/2 inch score in each one. And we are going to do that 4 times. So right here I have my 4 pieces that had been scored on both sides. So now to make our page, we're going to fold it along the score line on both sides. And then I'm going to add my double-sided tape. Right there. On both sides. And this is gonna be our very first page once we put it together. So we make sure that's nice and sticky in there. And then we're gonna grab our 6.5 by 6.5 and we're just gonna add it right there. Okay. So let's do that. So first I grab a little bit out and then I make sure this is lined up, and once it is I press on it and then just pull it out, and that's one side. And then the other side we just get it out. Do that, and that should be just fine. So this is our first page, and then as you can see this will be one of our pocket pages, and then we're just gonna do that 4 times. Okay, so now we have our 4 basic pages right here. So now that we have our pages ready, we are going to go ahead and start on the page designs. So for that, I'm going to grab my leftovers right here. And I'm going to cut a couple of them at 6 3/4 to make some of our flaps. So I think I'm just going to do, like 4. 6 3/4. And when I do this, I never really have a plan on how I'm going to do my page design. So I guess as I go, I decide how I'm going to do this. So now I'm going to grab my scoreboard and score this at 1/2 inch on one side. Okay, so 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there, half an inch there, and 1/2 inch there. So now I will fold along my score line and add some double-sided tape. and I will do the same for all 4. And then what I'm going to do is grab one of my pages, and I'm going to put it either on the top to open up and down, or I could also put it on the side to open sideways. So this first one, I want to put it on the top. Before I do that, I'm going to grab my Martha Stewart paper punch, and I'm going to punch the edge. So I'm gonna line these up and punch, and I'm going to line these up and punch. Okay. So then after I punch these, I just added it on my paper right there, and I want to make sure the opening is on this side, so it opens up like that. So that will be on this page. And then for the back, what I want to do is I'm going to grab my my other ones that I folded, and I'm going to put one like that, and I want to put the other one like so. So what I'm going to do is, to make sure this opens, I trim one shorter. So the shorter one, what I did is I just trim 1/2 inch right there. I will put that one first. Like that. And then this one that is going to go right here, I am also going to use my punch and do the edge. My dog. Okay, so then I'm going to add some tape on this one. And I will add it right here. So I want to make sure these two are lined up first, and then I will add it right there. Make sure these are lined up. And once it's lined up, then I'll just press, and I will take out my tape and press right there. So this will be the other side. So this page will open up like that, and then we're probably gonna add a little magnet here later on. So now we have our first signature page. So now for my second signature, I'm going to do a pocket on one side. So I'm gonna grab one of my leftover pieces from before, and I'm going to cut this one at 7 1/4. I mean 7 1/4. 7 1/4. And now I'm going to score both sides so along the long side I'm going to score 1/2 and 1/2, and on the bottom I will also score 1/2. Okay, so this is gonna be our pocket. And because you can either have it this deep, or I'm gonna trim mine because I want my pocket to be only 3 inches. So I'm going to cut it. So it's 3 inches from here to here. And then on the corners, we're just going to trim the corners like that and like that. And then I'm going to fold these along my score lines. Here I will add my score tape. So I'm gonna add 1, 2, and the last one. Just like that. Cut this a little more. Okay, so then after I do this, I'm going to add it to my page. And now I have the opening here because I want this to be a bottom pocket. If you want a side pocket, you can add it to this side. Okay, so now I have my pocket. And on the back, I'm gonna leave this page plain. So now I have my front, the second page, the third page, which is a pocket, and this page will be plain. And we'll add something else after we add the paper. So now for our third signature, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a new sheet of paper and cut these at 6 1/4. There you go. 6 1/4 by 6 3/4. So after I cut this piece, I just scored a 1/2 inch and then I added to this side. So that will be this page. So for my next signature, I'm going to grab my leftover papers again, and I'm going to cut at 3 3/4. And both will be 3 3/4. So I have my two 3 3/4, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to score along both sides. So I will score right here half, and I will also score on the other piece half. So now I'm going to add some tape, and this will go one right there, and one right there. Okay. So I score and added tape, and before I glue these here, I'm going to go ahead and use my paper edge cutter and just trim one side and the other side as well. Okay, so now I'm going to add one right there. So I want to make sure my opening is on the side, and then I will add one. Just eyeball it in the middle. And the other one, I want to make sure that these are even. So right there. So now we have a little gatefold opening. And on the back we have this big opening, and we're going to add something else later on. For my last page, what I want to do is I'm going to grab another of my leftover pieces, and this one measures 4 3/4. So what I want to do is I want to make like a square page right there. So to the 4 3/4, to make it square, I'm going to add another half. So I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4 right there, and score half. And then I will add this one here. So let me add some tape. So I'll add some tape right here, and then I want this to come on the side, so I'm going to put it right here. Right there. So then I'll cut another piece to, I already scored this one, so I'm just going to cut it at 5 1/4 right there. And this piece I'm going to add right here. I will add it right there. And this have a little bit left over, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim that. Just gonna do half. So I will put that one right there. So right there. So the way when I open this page, I could also open this page again. So let's add that right there. so I will add this. There. So then that will be this page. It will open like this and like that. And that's that. So for this next sheet, I grabbed my leftover piece and I cut this one at 6 1/4. So it will go vertical like this. And then this one I also cut at 6 1/4, but I score on the short side, so it will go like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add tape. Right there. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and add this one right there and make sure the opening's on the sides. So there you go, the opening's on the side. And we want to make sure the back it's like that. So this, I'm just gonna get this tape off and I will put it right on the side. Okay, and then the other one, before I add it here, I'm going to punch the border. Okay, so now I'll take off my tape. And I will just add this right here on the other side, like that. So then this page will open this way and this way. And this one, it opens up like that and like that. Okay. So now we have our basic four pages. Okay, so next we're going to start covering these pages and adding the magnets where we need to add it. So I'm going to, because I don't have a lot of magnets right now, I'm just going to mark where we're going to need some. So on this page that opens up, we're going to need a magnet. So I'm just going to go ahead and add one. So the way how I add my magnet is I grab my double-sided tape and I just add my magnet right there. And then I will place it on the side where I want the magnet. And I'm going to put it right there. And for the other side, what I do is I just put that right there. And then I'm going to put the tape facing this way. So I'm gonna grab my magnet and put it right there like that. And then when I shut this, I make sure it sticks. Whoops. And there you go. So when I pick it up, it's down there. So that's how I add my magnet. So I have one here, and then you're gonna need one again on this side. And then you won't need any here or here. And then we'll probably need one right there and one right there. So I'm done covering my pages. I cover most of them. Let me show you. So right here, you added a magnet. I ran out of magnets, so I'm going to add a little bit of Velcro on that one. But this one right here, I want to tell you, I put a magnet on this side to, later on when I put an embellishment here, my page will close. And I'll show you what I'm talking about on this album right here. So same thing, I have my gatefold. And so what I did is I added a magnet on this side and on this side. So when it closes, it snaps right there. So I added a magnet right here. And when I'm ready to put the top piece, I will add the other magnet. And then on the back, I cover every single sheet. This one I had a magnet. So this one, like I show you, it opens up like that. This one also I added a magnet. And see, this one I only added one magnet here, and it snaps with the magnets on the back. So I'm actually only using 3 magnets on this page instead of 4. So that's that one. And then this one was the pocket, and I don't have them in any order yet. It's just as I cover them. And I saved this one for last because I want to show you. So this is my 6x6, and this is the pocket in the back. So right here I'm going to add a waterfall. And before I add that, or I mean before I glue this piece down, I want to do the waterfall. And this will be the pull down kind of waterfall. So I will show you how to do that right now. So we're going to grab a piece of paper, and I'm going to cut 4 pieces of 4x4. So that's a 4x4. I mean, that's a 4, and this is a 4. And then I will cut these. At 4. And another one at 4. So I have 2. And then for the other one, I will also cut at 4. And at 4 again. Okay, so I now have 4 of the 4x4 pieces. Okay, and then I'm going to cut on another sheet of paper a long strip of 4. So that measures 4. So that's gonna be this piece, and I'm gonna save that other piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And I hope you can see that just fine. Okay, so I'm going to score at 1.5. That will be my first one. And then I'm going to score a half. Another one at half. So I'm scoring at 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. And that's because I only need 4. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me show you. I don't know if you can see that really good, but I have basically 3 lines. So now I'm going to fold along my last score line. And then I'm going to fold the next one. And I'm going to fold the next one. And the next one. So I have 1.5, half, half, and half. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some double-sided tape. Okay, so I put tape on each one of these. And now what I'm going to do is just add this one starting on the bottom. So I'm going to remove this tape. and add the very first one. Right there. We make sure it's aligned to the long piece, and then we'll do the next one. Again, we make sure it's aligned, and then the next one. I hope you can see that. Let me take off this tape. Okay, so we add the next one up here. And the last one. And we gotta make sure it's aligned. Like that. So now you added your 4 pieces of 4x4. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now I'm going to grab one of my scraps and I'm going to cut it at 5.5, and I'm going to cut it by 2. I think 2 should be fine, maybe 1.5. 1.5, okay? So that will be this piece right here, and this is the piece that is going to go under my waterfall right there. So I'm just gonna put it in the middle, and I'm going to pencil mark where I'm going to add my bracts, and I'm just gonna make sure they're even like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my holes right. So now I added the holes, and I'm going to cover it using a scrap piece of paper. Okay, so I added my paper, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my paper back, and I'm going to add the holes where the other holes were, like that. And same on the other side, like that. So I'm just punching the holes where I had my holes before. And what I'm going to do with the paper that I'm going to add, I'm going to mark where is this going to go. Okay, so it will be one right there, and one will be right there. Okay, so I punched my holes, and now what I'm going to do is just a line right here, and I'm going to place my bract. And before I do that, I'm actually going to put a little bit of glue, because I want to make sure this is steady and it's not going to move. So I'm going to add my glue and a line where my holes are, like that. And then I will add my bracts. 1. I'm going to close the back, and I'll add the other one, and I'm going to close the back as well. Okay, so then I'm just going to add some tape. Oops, and I will add some tape of that other one, and then I'm ready to glue this page right here. Okay, so now my page is glued, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the papers on my waterfall, and I will cover this one and all of these ones, but not this back one. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, so I cover all of my pages for my waterfall, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, oh, and I also added a little ribbon before I glue the paper. That way that will be my my pull-out tab. So I'm gonna center that, and that's how it's going to be. Okay, so now I'm gonna hold that and open it, and I'm just gonna add a little side of double-sided tape right here, and then I'm just going to fold that back down. Make sure it's straight and center, and there you go. And that's how we do a waterfall. And then if I pull this, it will open. See that?